planes.
So again, we are waiting for that casket to be lifted off of Air Force Two. From there, there is a hearse that's waiting. From there, they will leave Sky Harbor Airport and make their way to nearby.
Yeah, so I believe it's called Hanson's. There's no confirmation on that. I do know that it's at 7th Street in Peoria. So it's a pretty direct route. Peoria, just a couple of miles south of the 101. But again, if we do get this official motorcade, they should get there, I would imagine, in about 10 minutes. It should be about a 10-minute drive, maybe 15, up into that area, because again, they won't slow down. And
we do have a reporter, Rachel Cole. She is also standing by at the mortuary on the receiving end when that casket arrives. But I want to bring in psychologist Dr. Morgan Francis. Morgan, we were talking earlier, just about the emotions that this has evoked, whether or not you knew Charlie Kirk or you were familiar with him, but just to see, this violent attack, this horrific attack that happened yesterday, and now, we're really witnessing a historic moment right now.
We really are, and as Troy mentioned earlier, this brings up so many memories for people regarding John Kennedy and what they experienced. So I'm sure this is bringing up a lot of emotions because we're seeing support, we're seeing a lot of hope that something positive where we can come together as a community will help us get through this. And by coming down to Sky Harbor, by watching the Vice President come out.
All right, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I believe this is Kirk's family coming out of the plane. Hard for me to recognize on this shot. Do you want to take that full screen, guys? And there's the Vice President, I believe. Isn't that J.D. Vance behind? I believe that is.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, hard to see.
Yeah.
So he is escorting the family off of the plane. And I would imagine now they will make their way to, I don't know if it's limousines or SUVs, and the hearse will be following them. And we did not see the casket being taken off the plane, but we had a tough vantage point.
Right. Obviously, with the security and just some privacy, you could see the tail end of one of those buses there being purposely positioned to give the family some privacy. Naturally, you can understand why, but again, they just got off of Air Force Two, and from there, that casket is lifted off of Air Force Two, that will be taken to the nearby mortuary.
And you're seeing that in the bottom right, that small box there, that's the mortuary that they are headed to. And so Sky 12 will be over that, and as soon as the motorcade begins, I believe they're going to follow them from the airport. There's temporary flight restrictions, they're called a TFR, where Sky 12 cannot get close to Air Force 2. And generally, it's for any VIP type official, president, vice president, so we have to be at least 5 miles back, which is why we are in that different area. You know what I keep thinking about, Doctor, is the young wife, the 2 little kids, and I'm sure it helps that they're feeling this much support, right? Do you think?
Absolutely. They need this support, and they absolutely deserve all of our support because these are 2 young children who may not completely be able to comprehend this tragic event, and they will remember this day for the rest of their lives. And they will remember coming and being with their mother and seeing her and her grief and their family members. So this is a moment that will change the trajectory of their life.
It is really unimaginable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so many young people, my kids, I'm sure, Tram, your kids. I don't know if they're on social media yet. I've got little kids. But scrolling through and watching this graphic assassination yesterday. I mean, thoughts on that?
Yes, it was traumatic and it was extremely graphic. I actually thought I was watching something from AI when I first saw it, and it made my stomach hurt. And we're all processing those graphic images, and it doesn't make sense that it's just so close to us on our phones, and we don't have to search for it. You go right onto your phone and it pops right out without a trigger warning.
And that's what was so disturbing, is that, you're not prepared to see something like this, and it just shows up.
It just shows up, and parents were not prepared to talk about this because many teenagers already saw it before their teenager came home from school. So they get into the car and they right away tell their mom or dad, this is what I saw. And it is important to talk about it And it is important to ask your teenager what they saw and what their thoughts were, how they're feeling about it. It is important that we validate that it was awful and so much shock and disbelief to see something so graphic on their phone. And it makes sense that they might feel scared or uneasy, and there may be some disruption acutely for the next several days or weeks due to the current events of what's going on, not only with Charlie Kirk, but also the recent school shooting yesterday. So we're
I
really
feel like we're surrounded by violence,
Yes,
right,
so
anymore.
much.
If you are just joining us now, we are looking, we've got 3 different pictures up on our screen. The two larger ones are basically from the cell phone lot right across from Air Force Two. And if you're just joining us, Air Force Two landed maybe a half an hour ago. Vice President J.D. Vance, the body of Charlie Kirk and his family. They are still, we believe, I would imagine by now they're probably in that executive terminal getting ready to go. I can't imagine they're still on the tarmac. We
Right,
can't see them.
which I feel like, and Stanley, I mean, earlier these shots, everything was static, right? Like there was no traffic moving whatsoever. And now it looks like maybe some of the security has been lifted because we're seeing so much traffic.
Now, they're staging for different areas to prepare for this motorcade. That's
So we apologize.
Yeah, I think we've got Jade up there right now. Jade, do you have something for us? I hear you talking. Could you have something for us, Jade? I mean, we might be having some problems with Jade's earpiece of her hearing us. But I would think that the reason that they're able to let traffic go again is maybe the vice president is secured inside that building, or what would you think?
yes, I would think so. And as I said, they stage before they prepare to move. And this is a transfer of responsibility. The Secret Service simply doesn't have enough person power or the technology to conduct a motorcade, and the locals do. And so with the motorcycles and those types of
Oh,
things.
here we go.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Jade. All right, here we are, Charlie Kirk's body. And this is heavy,
Now,
being taken off of Air Force Two right now. It's on a lift. It's in a wood casket. And looks
lifted
like
by a number, like it looks like at least 6 or so people there.
it's like Air Force person. It's the Air Force Honor Guard is what we're hearing, and it looks like there may even be like a Marine in the back, or maybe it is all Air Force.
Right. And that was that apparatus that we had seen earlier, the big apparatus to move in to butt up to Air Force Two in order to get that casket out.
And they're securing it now. The finality of this, right? I mean, we had a 31-year-old yesterday doing what he believed in, and now we've got this.
Yes, it feels really intense to be watching this because so much emotion is coming up. And it makes sense for us and the viewers to be really taking a moment and taking this in front of us.
So, and to make it even tougher, so his wife and his young family and the vice president, I'm sure, are close by, and this is something they're witnessing as well. I would imagine they're going to take the casket from here and put it in the hearse. They have a fairly short drive in terms of, Phoenix Metro standards. They're going to go from this area, which is basically just a little bit east of downtown Phoenix, and they're going to head just a little bit north, basically 7th Avenue in Peoria. I'd imagine a 10 or 15 minute drive.
Well, and especially, Stanley, as you were saying, I mean, chances are the traffic will come to a halt in order for the hearse to make a smooth transition, a smooth ride to the mortuary.
The escort will ensure that that's done. That's what the motors are for, the motorcycles.
Yeah, and so what they'll do generally, and I've seen as many as maybe 25 or maybe 30 of them.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot. They'll get together, so they work in teams. 2 or 3 of them will go to one intersection and stop that, and then the next one go up to the one after and the one after, and then as soon as the motorcade passes, they race up from the back to the next motorcade, so they're not stopped by traffic. And also that's another security issue, right? You don't want to be sitting at a stoplight, and because that's when bad actors can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All All right, so if you were just joining us here, 5:06 Arizona time, and the body of Charlie Kirk, who was murdered yesterday in Utah, has arrived here in the Valley, just taken off of Air Force Two. The Vice President J.D. Vance came off that plane just a short time ago, along with Charlie Kirk's family. A number of other people as well. We don't know exactly who. We said it was at least over a dozen, may have been co-workers of his or friends, family members, people who traveled out to Utah to make this trip with him.
And we know that, we've got several reporters stationed at various points here, two of which are at the airport, Bianca up on the rooftop, Jade down on the ground. Jade, I'm wondering from your vantage point, because there look like to be dozens of people showing up with their flags draped over the fences. What is it that you're seeing as they are witnessing this moment right here as the casket is being secured?
Hey guys, I'm sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties here, but yes, we are seeing a ton of support out here across the street from this executive terminal. Again, a lot of people of all ages. Many are holding American flags. And I've been watching them because we really can't see what's happening with Air Force Two just because of the security measures that are being taken in place. But I have been standing here just kind of watching the people and their reaction, and it's emotional out here. A lot of people I'm seeing wiping away tears. And I think it's a very overwhelming moment for them, and they're trying to take it in, and they felt the need to be here and pay their respects to Charlie Kirk and his family. So that's what we're seeing out here, just a lot of people, more people in fact showing up. Earlier we actually heard some bagpipes as well, so I'm sure that may pick up as soon as this motorcade leaves the tarmac. But yeah, more and more people are starting to show up. We're hearing cars honking their horns, some cars pulling over to see if they can see a glimpse. So just a lot of support out here for Charlie Kirk and his family.
And we just saw the casket being lowered down. That must have been some sort of a lift type truck on hydraulics that got up high so it could get it out of the plane, because of course the plane sits many feet off the tarmac. And I would imagine now it's being brought over to the hearse, and then that motorcade will start again, going from the airport up into kind of north central Phoenix. Can we get back to Bianca? Maybe if we get a second, just chat with her for a second, because she does have a different vantage point, and I know she was with other supporters up on the top of the parking structure of Terminal 4. So Bianca, what have you seen here?
Yeah, and just moments before Air Force Two came into the airspace here, dozens of people showed up. I don't know how many of our viewers have been on the rooftop of the Terminal 4 parking garage, but the entire side of it, from east to west, was ultimately lined with supporters of Charlie Kirk that showed up here, here to pay their respects. Not people that were here that just so happened to have a flight, people that took time out of their day to be here. I mentioned a military veteran I spoke with who showed up here with his wife. They came with an American flag. As soon as we got a glimpse of the plane, they draped that flag over the side of the terminal. People put their hands over their heart. People were crying. They were emotional. Many of them are still here now because although we are far away, again, we're at Terminal 4, this is all unfolding in the executive terminal, Terminal 2, you can still see the plane, and you can see just a part of that hearse that's there ready to receive the casket. So we are watching those movements happen from afar, albeit, but we are able to still see some of that movement. So folks here, I imagine, will stay until they see Air Force Two depart. It was important for them to be here. Many of them talked about following on social media some of what has happened up in Utah, being moved by videos that emerged from Turning Point colleagues of Charlie Kirk from the tarmac in Utah, showing Vice President J.D. Vance help carry the casket of Charlie Kirk and load it onto Air Force Two, a very moving image for so many people that I talked to today. So again, just kind of watching and waiting, a very somber mood up here, even though the plane, again, is far away from where we're standing. Just the presence of what's going on here is being felt still. So again, our vantage point a bit further away, but we can still make out that hearse there. We could see when that casket was being unloaded from Air Force Two, and are now just watching and waiting as it continues to make its way into the hearse, guys.
And there are quite a number of people on the tarmac. You know, dozens, it looks like.
Can we take that Bianca shot full screen? Because we just put it up in the studio and we can see it a lot better. So just to the left of that crane, I think they're building a whole new terminal down there. So that's a big crane in the middle of our screen. It appears that's where the hearse is. Yes, and I can see the back of it open, just over the highway sign, that middle highway sign you see. Yeah, and I would say there's probably 40 or 50 people down there, wouldn't you say that?
I mean, earlier when we saw J.D. Vance and Charlie Kirk's family get off Air Force Two, you know, there weren't a lot of people who were getting off the plane, but now from this somewhat top-level shot here, you can see just dozens of people gathered there. We're not quite sure who exactly was there to greet the family.
Are they moving the casket in now? It looks like there's a group of men walking slowly towards the open door of the hearse. We can't see the casket, but it looks like they are loading the body of Charlie Kirk into the back of this white hearse from what we're seeing. You know, oftentimes when a dignitary comes in, people will wait there inside Terminal 2 to greet that dignitary, which is probably why we saw maybe a dozen people come off the plane, but quite a few more people here. Obviously, Charlie Kirk made his name for himself in this city. He built a very successful business here in this city, a political business. I don't know what else you would call it. And basically, I'm sure there are hundreds, if not thousands of people in this city who personally knew him.
Right.
You know, when you build a business like that, you meet a lot of people.
Absolutely. And, you know, the friends, the allies, the supporters, I mean, you can see it now. You really can. I mean, he made a name for himself at a very young age, didn't finish college, but yet his reach was truly, I mean, whether you believe in his ideology or not, the fact that his reach went so far is quite remarkable for someone who had never held a political office, an official political office. The impact that he had and the influence that he had on so many people, and clearly on the Trump administration here, because this is what we're seeing here with Air Force Two personally delivering his casket back to his home.
And I believe they just shut the back door of the hearse. Jade reported that there was some sort of, she heard bagpipe music, so I'd imagine maybe there's some sort of a mini ceremony.
Right.
That's happening right there on the tarmac. So I would imagine in the next few minutes, and we could probably tell as, you know, the people who are standing here start breaking up and heading towards different cars, that motorcade should begin. Again, I'm estimating about 15 minutes once it starts. We've got Sky 12. The bottom part of your screen on the right is the destination. That is the mortuary at 7th Street and Peoria, where they will be headed. And we plan on following this procession as it makes its way there.
Right, and really it looks like, you know, they really should be leaving relatively soon, because it did look like the door of the back of that hearse closed. So really, you know, any moment now, but clearly a very somber moment. You've got supporters up on the rooftop where Bianca's at, Terminal 4. You've got supporters on the ground, and even children there too, not only at that location, but also at the national headquarters in Phoenix at Turning Point USA.
And we're going to check in with Sean probably once this procession begins. I think we'll talk to him at that point. So, but Doctor, you know, one of the things that hit me just right now is that the closing of the hearse door, right? I mean, it's got to be one of those things that just hits you in the stomach, right? For anybody, especially his family.
Absolutely. It's this visceral feeling to watch that, to see the men carry the casket, to see them place it into the hearse, and the finality of it closing. It really just makes it so more real, because we are watching this live, and the coverage is allowing us to experience this all together. And it brings up a tremendous amount of emotion, of grief, the hurt that we feel for his wife and children, and the community. As you talked about earlier, Tram, he really had an impact on young conservative Americans who felt so aligned with his views. And he really did represent freedom of speech. And encouraging young Americans to debate on topics without violence. And he really had a far reach with his podcast. He was incredibly successful. And this is a really emotional, difficult time for all of us to be witnessing together.
So the video you're seeing on your top right is Turning Point USA. And again, we'll get to Sean in just a moment. But I'm wondering if we should almost get down to Jade, if we can do that, because I would imagine it appears that people now are heading to vehicles. And if Jade has a feeling of whether or not we are getting ready to start this motorcade and head out of here. Jade?
Yeah, guys, I think we are starting to get just a little bit close. We're seeing a little bit more activity with Phoenix Police. They have some motorcycle on-duty officers kind of setting up over there. We're starting to see some kind of gather in that general location, but really a lot of the activity is just with the people here. We're seeing a lot of cars stopping, asking what's going on. Of course, those obviously who know what's going on, they have their phones out taking pictures. And again, just this crowd that's right next to us or across the street from us, it just continues to grow with supporters. So we are seeing just a little bit of movement. They still have that shuttle though blocking the front of the fence, obviously for privacy. So we still can't see a whole lot that's happening on the tarmac, but just out here it does look like there is some preparations underway for something to start happening here soon.
Well, and it looks like the crowd, this kind of ground shot that we see to the left here, it looks like the crowd is starting to disperse. So people, getting into their vehicles and that hearse probably leaving pretty soon, but it definitely isn't as crowded on the tarmac as it was just a couple of minutes ago.
And I would imagine that those people in there were very close to the Kirk family, and so they're probably, for the first time, seeing his family, right, and giving their, condolences. And we don't know exactly when the funeral is going to be. We mentioned it earlier if you're just tuning in. President Trump has confirmed that he's going to be coming out for the funeral, and we don't know exactly when that's going to be. I do want to mention something very quickly. We do have NBC Nightly News coming up here. This is locally in Phoenix. I know other stations are taking the signal right now, but here in Phoenix, we have NBC Nightly News coming up in about 11 minutes. And when that happens, we're going to go to our streaming app, 12 Plus. I believe you can also watch us on our online, so 12news.com. So again, we're not ending, even though we're breaking away for Nightly News.
We will continue our coverage of this until that casket has been delivered to the mortuary. But we will be streaming again from 5:30 to 6 o'clock on 12 Plus. On 12 Plus, but also we will resume our television coverage as well at 6 o'clock. But again, just to bring you up to speed, that to the right top corner, that is Turning Point USA. That is their national headquarters.
Should we go to Sean?
In downtown Phoenix.
Sean, are you ready to talk with us? I know we've got some time, it appears, and before this motorcade leaves.
Yeah.
What are you seeing there?
Yeah. This has been an incredibly moving day, and just as we've been on the air, seeing Air Force Two come in over the last hour or so, I've seen people, it's been consistent. They come up, some just want to hold a moment of silence with their family members. There are a lot of families, young children, mothers, fathers here with those children. Some just want to hold a moment of silence. Others want to pray over these two memorials. I'm going to step out so you can see what we've been seeing. There's two memorials, one on the left side of your screen here, another one that's on the further right side, and there is a group of people at each of them, some closer, some further, who, as I mentioned, are just paying their respects at this point. Another thing that's really caught my eye, you can't help but notice it, is people from all different occupations here. There's some people who look as though they just got off work from a construction site, others donning a suit and tie. I think that goes to show the reach that Charlie Kirk had in his life and his political movement. Is this is someone who people feel as though they could relate to. This is someone who felt as though he had a message for the average everyday American and could come to their level and engage in daily debates on the topics that we all care about the most. So it's just been an incredibly moving scene out here. This crowd has been incredibly consistent over the last 6 hours that we've been here. I think if you can come off further to the right, Patrick, my photographer, it's just this, there's an incredibly long line of Charlie Kirk supporters here, and this has been what we've seen all throughout today. We'll send it back to you.
All right, go ahead.
We just got word that if you're watching on the left side of your screen there, obviously this is a shot of a parking lot, but earlier when it was on the tarmac, we just got word that the hearse has already left. And Stanley, you were saying that J.D. Vance, his vehicle was right behind it?
It's a governmental official because it was a flagged vehicle, American flag on it, flying in the front, and that indicates that it was a government official. So I would surmise that it could be the vice president.
You know, maybe we get to Jade. Jade, you're down there, and you would know if they have left. I know it takes a second to get Jade's mic up. What are you seeing, Jade?
Yes. Yes, so the hearse actually just left just moments ago, and they took a sharp right, so we didn't get a good vantage point, but as soon as that hearse went by, the crowd next to us immediately began shouting and waving, some still wiping away tears. So again, we weren't able to get a good glimpse of it, but it did leave the tarmac and is en route to its final destination.
You know, we're looking right now. This is the is this the 10 we're looking at? I would imagine is it the 10 in that area? Yeah, it is the 10. This is Interstate 10, which is a very busy roadway, and I would think that they would shut that down for the motorcade. So I wonder if they're taking surface streets. We kind of lost them here. What are your thoughts on that?
I would think that probably would be a better way.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
It stayed low. It did not go on
There
the
it is.
freeway.
There it is. That's it right there.
The white
Hey.
hearse
They're getting on the freeway right now, it appears.
with the motorcycles.
Yeah.
Yes, leading the way. And right there, it looks like that's the white hearse.
Yeah, so
behind it.
this is the on-ramp to, it would be westbound Interstate 10, which winds right next to downtown Phoenix. And it does appear that they have a full brigade of motor officers in front of them, but I don't think, we'll find out fairly quickly, because once they get on that freeway, they'll make a right. If you're looking at the screen, we'll know whether or not they've shut it down, because there'll be no other cars there. Right. So they're making a right here as they get on the freeway.
There it is. Yeah, you can see the motorcycles leading the way.
Yep.
Is this Sky 12 video now? Where's this from?
Sky 12 is down below in that
I see.
lower right-hand corner box.
Oh, this is from our
This
the
is
fourth
from
floor.
our ground crew.
Right.
Right. So you can see that the white hearse and a number of dignitaries' vehicles behind it, right, Stan?
It looks like it.
Mm-hmm.
So again, if you are joining us, the body of Charlie Kirk and his family, you would imagine, is in one of those two vehicles behind that hearse. Have now left Sky Harbor Airport. They're taking a relatively short drive. They're on Interstate 10 right now, and we believe they are ending up at 7th Street in Peoria, which is probably about maybe a 10, 15 mile drive, something like that, to get up there. And I can't see if the freeway shut down from this vantage point, unfortunately, but I would imagine it's probably about a 10 to 15 minute drive.
Right. And I mean, considering it, you know, they're driving at a relatively decent speed there, that everything has been halted, traffic around it, just to make sure that there are no stops, and that everything is secured safely and that they are easily on their way.
So we have Rachel Cole now at the mortuary up at 7th Street in Peoria. Tell us what you're seeing there, Rachel.
Yeah, good evening to you guys. We're just north of Northern Avenue, just north of the canal, in fact, and we've just seen about 6 to 7 Phoenix motorcycle cops, probably the ones you're seeing now, leave the mortuary to go then escort the motorcade. So I know there's been a lot of questions about what sort of procession we'll see for Charlie Kirk as he makes his way over here to 7th Street and what is Las Palmeritas. And just kind of what Sean has been reporting and Bianca reporting from Terminal 4 and Jade there on the ground in the cell phone lot. We're seeing people start to gather here, getting word of where Charlie Kirk is being brought, and they are standing along 7th Street with American flags, with their Trump hats on, with their kids in tow and chairs. In fact, we had someone come out from one of the small businesses in this area and say, is there a parade going on for 9/11? And you would start to think that based on what you're seeing with all the red, white, and blue and the Patriots out here to pay their respects. So we will be monitoring the motorcade as it makes its way here to Hanson Mortuary. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Rachel, thank you. We have 1 minute left here, and I want to remind all of our Phoenix television viewers here in the Phoenix TV market. This is a Sky 12 video here of the procession. We are leaving on TV to go to nightly news, but our coverage is not stopping. You can get be on our 12 Plus app, also our website, 12news.com. And then I believe our app as well, the 12 News app, that we will continue to stream our coverage here. But again, about 30 seconds left in our TV coverage. So